Iron Fist is so much more than just a cool superhero name. In fact, it's a title that's been passed down for generations, and there is such a deep and rich lore to all of it. There are so many different hidden powers and aspects that like nobody on YouTube is talking about. So today on Comic Drake, we're going to look into what the Iron Fist is, how it came into being, and a lot of stuff that you probably might not have known. Let's dive in. In the Marvel Universe, there are 7 capital cities of heaven, and each one has a champion. These are the immortal weapons, and it's their job to protect their respective city. These warriors consist of Fat Cobra, the Bride of 9 Spiders, Dog Brother Number 1, the Prince of Orphans, Tiger's beautiful daughter, the Steel Phoenix, and most famously, the Iron Fist of Kunlun. But what is the Iron Fist? Let's break it down. Once upon a time, the ruler of Kunlun, the UT, was being entertained by a dragon rider. Yet out of nowhere, the dragon went berserk and attacked. The UT's right-hand man, Quan Star, stepped up and defended his master, nearly losing his life 3 times in the process. Star killed the dragon, cut out its heart, and presented it to the UT. Instead of praise, Star was banished, for he had slain a sacred dragon. After Star's banishment, the UT melted the dragon's heart and brought it back to life. This dragon was tasked with guarding its own heart, and would become the legendary beast, Shao-Lao the Undying. Later on, Shao-Lao attacked Kunlun, and it was decided that a champion of the city would be chosen to defeat it. So, the 2 strongest warriors that the city had to offer were chosen, Quan Yaozu and Shu Hu. Quan was victorious, defeated Shao-Lao, and plunged his hands into the dragon's molten heart. This branded Quan and endowed him with the dragon's chi, allowing him to become the first Iron Fist. It's also assumed that he took scales off of the dragon to create the Book of the Iron Fist. Eventually written on these scales are the complete histories of every Iron Fist, as well as their techniques. This tome is also special in that it can only be read by other Iron Fists. It can be read though if you have the severed hand of an Iron Fist on hand, even if they're dead, as seen by this time that a bad dude used the hand of Zhang Di, the shortest lived Iron Fist, having held the title for only 2 weeks. Now, as the name implies, Shao-Lao the Undying doesn't stay dead for long. It goes through a cycle of life and death, constantly hatching out of an egg, kind of like a Digimon. The dragon's chi is like an ocean that an Iron Fist can tap into, granting them several supernatural abilities and powers that we'll get into in a bit. After Quan's original battle, the Iron Fist was adopted as the protector of Kunlun, and rules were set in place for future warriors to take up the mantle. First, a candidate would need to face the trial of the many, and defeat several of Kunlun's finest warriors all at once. After that, they would need to face the one. This was Shu Hu, the man who lost to Quan in that fateful battle years ago. Later on though, Shu Hu would be replaced by a robot, because comics. After defeating the one, the challenger would be allowed to face Shao-Lao, try to defeat him, plunge their hands into his molten heart, and become the next Iron Fist. There would be others who would try to circumvent this ritual, such as Davies, who snuck into the cave to fight Shao-Lao, but lost. This earned Davies an incomplete brand, and with it, only a fraction of the power of the Iron Fist. However, an ancient warrior named Fan Fei was once sentenced to death for teaching Kung Fu to cavemen, and escaped her punishment by defeating Shao-Lao and taking his power. To my knowledge, this is the only Iron Fist that was able to gain their power in this way. Alright, so now for the part that you've probably been waiting for. What are the powers and abilities that come with being the Iron Fist? Well, most notably is the Iron Fist itself, which has the user focus their chi into their fist until it becomes like unto a thing of iron. However, a skilled user can also extend their chi into other objects, such as weapons, leading to badass chi arrows and freaking chi bullets. This fuel source can also be used to give its bearer a healing factor, channeled into the brain to expand cognitive abilities, absorb other chi even from sources besides Shao-Lao, levitate, and also sense who around them has the potential to also become an Iron Fist. My favorite technique, though, might have to be the Hypnotic Fist, which is basically a Jedi mind trick. While Shao-Lao's chi is the main source of an Iron Fist power, it can be forcibly taken, be willingly relinquished and given back to the dragon, or can be diminished if multiple Iron Fists are using it at the same time. Yeah, there's actually been instances of more than one Iron Fist being alive simultaneously. Crazy, I know. The Iron Fist that most of y'all are probably familiar with is Danny Rand, but its predecessor, Orson Randall, was also alive in addition to the very first fist, Quan Yaozu, who got trapped in the recently discovered 8th city where he turned evil and took it over. Although Orson eventually died, a new Iron Fist named Payne has emerged in recent times. She is the youngest to ever take up the mantle and was directly trained by Danny Rand. So once again, there are 3 Iron Fists alive at one time: Danny, Quan, and Payne. In total, there have been 68 people to become Iron Fist, and before Payne, all of them were men outside of one woman named Wu Aoshi, as evidenced by these 2 pages in Immortal Iron Fist number 7, which documented her life. This has since been retconned with the aforementioned Fan Fei, as well as the interesting case of a woman named Fengji Wu. Much like Danny and Orson, Wu was an outsider who learned the ways of Kung Fu and became Iron Fist. However, she was also the vessel for a powerful cosmic entity known as the Phoenix Force. She went to space and never came back, so there's really not much known about her, but this also allowed her to avoid facing one grisly part of being an Iron Fist. On the 33rd birthday of an Iron Fist, a beast called the Qi-Lin comes for them, and has killed pretty much every fist that they have ever hunted down. While Danny is the first fist that was known to actually defeat the beast, Orson did manage to avoid it for decades by abusing drugs and masking his chi. While it's never been explicitly revealed, the Qi-Lin does have ties to the 8th city, and since Quan Yaozu is the leader of that city, it can be assumed that the first Iron Fist is the one who sends the beast after all of his successors. And there you go, a lot of information about Iron Fist that you don't hear talked about online very often. If you want to learn more, then I highly recommend checking out the Immortal Iron Fist, because that's where most of the information in this video came from. In my opinion, this is the definitive Iron Fist book, so if you want to learn more about the character and dive into his mythos, that's where you're going to want to start. Also, what do you guys think about this hoodie? I really like it. This was actually sent to me by the sponsor of today's video, Beautiful Halo. They sent me some awesome hoodies and they have plenty more on their website. My favorite one that they gave me was actually this Nightwing hoodie that really upped my cosplay game. But 2 things though. One, they're not like super well lined, so they're more for fashion, not really for warmth. Also, if you like having longer sleeves in order to tuck your hands into, I know that I like that on occasion, these do run a little tight, so probably get a larger size if that's your fancy. If you want to check out their entire selection, then go ahead and check out my link in the description below. There's a bunch of discounts, anywhere from like 20 to even 50% off. So get yourself some cool looking merch, and yeah. Thanks guys, I like it. But if you like this video, then why not consider subscribing or even watching another one? In fact, a video that I would like to recommend to you today is the video that I did all about Spider-Man's web shooters. I go into some crazy in-depth information about the different types of web, a lot of the stats about them, and so much more. So maybe give that a watch. Anyway, I hope you learned at least a little something new, and hopefully, I'll see you next time.